Hello everybody and welcome back to Armchair Bikers TV. Today we got some exciting news from our Italian friends, or otherwise known as Beta motorcycles. We got two new models coming to the US market, and supposedly they're going to be available as soon as June of this year. So without further ado, let's get into the video. If you're not familiar with Beta motorcycles, they are an Italian-based manufacturer, and they primarily make racing-oriented bikes. So anywhere from MX bikes, enduro bikes, trials bikes, or even street-legal dual-sport bikes that are basically just dirt bikes with plates, very competitive with KTM or Husqvarna models. But as far as like everyday commuting bikes or dual sport bikes that you can use on a regular basis and not just for more racing or hardcore applications, they don't really have anything until now, at least in the US market. So recently announced by Beta is the introduction of the Alp 4.0 and the Alp X models. Apparently over in Europe there has been a beta model called the Alp 4.0, which has been produced and sold in Europe for more than 25 years. But now, inspired by that model, there are two new models coming to the US. So again, the Alp 4.0 and the Alp X. So both bikes are very similar. Primary differences between the two are going to be the styling and the wheel size. But both bikes are going to use the same engine, the same suspension, it's the same chassis between the two bikes. They're really just giving you two different flavors depending on what your personal preferences are for styling and, as I said, wheel size. They're advertising the Alp 4.0 as the more off-road oriented version and the Alp X as the more urban street version. Starting with some specs though, both bikes are using a 348cc single-cylinder liquid-cooled engine. We got 7.3 inches of travel in the front for both bikes and 7.7 inches of travel in the rear for both bikes. As far as ground clearance goes, we're looking at 10.6 inches for the 4.0, 10.2 inches for the X, and that is primarily due to the wheel size causing that slight difference. So the Alp 4.0 is using a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel, so very dirt bike-like, and the Alp X is using a 19-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear. So slight differences in the wheel sizes, which of course relates to slight differences in ground clearance. And then also we notice a difference here in the seat height. This has a 34-inch seat height on the 4.0 model and a 33.6-inch seat height on the X model. So again, small difference, basically just due to the wheel size. 2.9 US gallon fuel tank. And the dry weight on the 4.0 is 308 pounds, and the dry weight on the Alp X is 313 pounds. So the X is just a few pounds heavier, maybe because of the differences in the bodywork. Now it does say dry weight, but then in parentheses it says wet weight, no fuel. So I guess that means it's going to have oil and coolant in it, just no fuel. And that's how they're getting those weights. But regardless, even with no fuel, those are pretty light weights for a 350cc bike. And I think it's a really perfect size for a small, agile, nimble adventure bike that would do really well going through tight single track trails, but then still large enough and comfortable enough to ride on the street and maybe use as your daily commuter to work. It looks like a really cool, really versatile bike. Of course, not going to know for sure until you swing a leg over one and ride one. With the 34-inch seat height, I don't think that's too tall. I think most people will be able to manage that seat height. And as far as the engine goes, they're claiming 35 horsepower out of that 348cc engine. So not necessarily setting the world on fire with the horsepower, but I think that's still a respectable number for the engine size. And certainly plenty of power for off-road use and urban city commuting. Some cool features for these bikes includes a Bosch ABS system, which is nice to see. And what's also nice to see is that you can turn that ABS system off when you're off-road. 6-speed transmission, as mentioned before, which is great to see. Passenger foot pegs come standard, so this bike is 2-up capable. And it also comes with a TFT dash, LED lighting, and it even has 2 ride modes. So with those specs and these features, you have to be asking yourself, well, what's the price? Because just like anything, the price can make or break the bike. Just ask Suzuki on the DRZ 4S. But the price on this bike doesn't look too bad. We are looking at $6,490 US for the MSRP. Looks like plus a $589 destination fee. So right around that $7,000 mark. So not a terrible price for an Italian-made lightweight adventure bike. Certainly has some decent specs and some decent features. Let me know what you guys think down below, if you think that price is overpriced, if you think it's too much for a bike this small, or if you think that price is just about right for where this bike falls as far as size and features. I don't think it's too bad. It could be worse, of course. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But overall, styling is really cool. Now, me personally, I think I'm leaning towards the Alp X as far as the styling. I really love the round headlight and the small differences in the bodywork. I like it a little bit better than the 4.0. But then as far as wheel size goes, I really like the 21 18-inch setup on the Alp 4.0 because that's exactly what most dirt bikes use. So I think that's a really cool setup. So yeah, I would be torn as to which one maybe I would go with. I would have to say I'd probably be leaning more towards the X just for the styling. I mean, I really love the way it looks, especially the round headlight. But both bikes, very unique looking. I don't think anybody's going to mistake these for any other bike. And really excited to hear that these bikes are going to be available in the US market as soon as June of this year. Now, as far as Beta dealerships, you're going to have to do some research and see if you have any Beta dealerships in your area. Funny enough, for me and Boomer Buzz, we actually have a Beta dealership that's not too far away from us. I think it's about 30 minutes away. So I've never been there, but this bike might be a reason for me to stop in there and check some stuff out. And it's a sort of a hole in the market. These lightweight adventure bikes, there's not too many people offering a true lightweight adventure bike, and this is really interesting to see from Beta. And again, this puts Beta sort of on the radar for me because otherwise there wasn't really anything that they produced that really interests me too much. Whereas this bike really does interest me, and now it's something that I definitely want to see in person, maybe even take for a test ride. And who knows, if we like it enough, and if you guys want to see this bike on the channel, let us know down in the comment section below. Maybe we'll have to at least film a test ride on one, or maybe we'll have to buy one, who knows. But these are pretty cool looking bikes, and sort of out of left field. Was not expecting to see this offering from Beta. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Is this a competitive dual sport bike that's going to be able to cut it up with bikes like the CRF 300, the KLX 300, Suzuki's new DRZ 4S? Does this have a spot in the market? Or do you think that in the US market this is going to fall on its face? Who knows? I think it's going to do pretty well, but I could be wrong. So let me know in the comment section below. Before I end this video, I just want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. We would greatly appreciate if you could help us out, as well as check out some of our previous videos. Right now, Boomer Buzz is in the middle of rebuilding one of his childhood bikes, a 1974 XL 100. He has a couple videos working on that bike and getting it running. So check that out on our channel. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. There's a couple videos actually. So check those out. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below what do you think of these two brand new models, and we will see you in the next one.